Hi guys, how are you? My name is Mark Njoroge Mugai. I am an online tutor. I make online tutorial videos. The YouTube channel is official Mark Mugai. Please subscribe. You can also like my page on Mark Mugai, Facebook page on Mark Mugai. Please subscribe. God bless you. So, good morning students, how are you? I hope God has blessed you and I hope you're well. Now, I've also mobilized another KNEC past paper question, just that I don't have the hard copy of this, but with me here, I have an application or a software that we use. This is a mechanical module 1 past paper question. You can always find this in Play Store, and now it is in engineering, drawing and design. It is for mechanical students. As you can see here, there are a lot of past paper questions here. On tangency, conic sectioning, on isometric drawing, on orthographic drawing, and every other view. But now I want us to look at this particular question here, and this is our question over here: an electric bulb. We have to draw this electric bulb, which is, as you can see, the marks, it is 15 marks. So if you're able to draw this and do the orthographic question, you've already passed your exam. Please follow keenly as I now guide you through. I want to draw this very quickly. The electric bulb is like this. This is the electric bulb. As you can see also in the question, the bulb, you're supposed to draw this and then draw this curve. You see these curves? This is what you're supposed to blend in, and these other curves that you're supposed to blend in. You can see this part here, and then this part, and then this other part like this, as you can see. So please follow keenly and I will show you now how to actually draw this question. So the very first thing that you do now, after you've been able now to draw your question, the very first thing that you do, you draw a straight line like this. So you first draw a straight line from top to bottom like this. You can draw a straight line from this part to this part like this. So you can draw your straight line like that. After you've drawn your very straight line like that, you see in the question we are told that we have a distance of 12 from here to here. We're given a distance of 12. So take your ruler again very much correctly like this and measure 0.6 on both sides. 0.6 on both sides very much correctly. So this will be 1.2 will be at this particular point. 0.6 will be at this particular point. Sorry, let me correct it. Supposed to measure 1.2 on both sides, so it will be 0.6 and 0.6 on both sides. So 1.2 is on this side and the other one on this particular side like that. So we have that. We have that as our 1.2 or 12. This is our 12. As you measure it, you can see it is 12 centimeters. Or rather, when you see that the measurements which are given to you by the examiner are too small, you can always add another scale. You can do it 1:2. You can use a scale of 1:2. When you see that what the exam demands is very small and the measurements are very small, which can be challenging in your drawing, you can always do it 1:2. So in this question, I will do it 1:2. So instead of putting the 12, I will put 24. So here we will have 1.2, 1.2, 2.4 on this side and 1.2 on this side. So here we have our 2.4. Then the very next thing we are told that the distance from here to here, it is 10. So you measure 10 again from here. You will measure your 10 very much correctly. Measure your 10 from down here. Measure your 10 very well. So our 10 will be at this particular point like this, or you can have it double, which will be 20 now. 20 and this particular point again, you measure your 20 from this point again, you measure your 20 like that. Then the very next thing we are told is that from this particular point we have a curve here and another curve here. This curve is 12. It is 12 centimeters or 1.2, or 12 centimeters. It is just 12 centimeter or 1.2 centimeters. So what you do, you will again measure 12 centimeters. So from this point, maybe you can draw a straight line using your ruler. draw a straight line from this particular point like this, using constructions lines like that. So from this point, we are told we will move 12 centimeters on this side and 12 centimeters, 1.2 centimeters down and 1.2 centimeters up. So from this particular point, you measure 1.2 centimeters again using your ruler. Again, measure your 1.2 centimeters going down and 1.2 centimeters going up like this. So 1.2 will be at this particular point. Again, the other 1.2 centimeters will be at this particular point. So at that point, we have gotten our 1.2. Then our 1.2 going outwards. So you stand on this particular point again. 1.2 will be at this point. Then 1.2 on the other side will be at this particular juncture like that. So we have our 1.2 at this point, this point, this point, and this point. So from here again, you can draw your straight line using reference line like that. You see, like that. Then from here again, draw your straight lines going, protruding downwards, going down. At this point, you can draw your lines using constructions lines like that. Then from this particular point again, you can draw your lines again going down like that. So from this point, we are told from here, from this particular juncture here, we are told that we are supposed now to draw. We are now supposed to draw a curve of 1.2. This will take a lot of time. That is why I'm taking a lot of time, so that you students can understand what I'm doing, so that you not say that nobody helped you or you did not find any revision material. This YouTube channel is just meant for you to understand things. Please follow keenly and you will see. So from here we are told there is a curve at this particular point, and that curve is supposed to be 1.2 centimeters. So you measure 1.2 centimeters on your ruler like this. So this becomes 1.2 centimeters. Using the same measurements, you stand now at this particular juncture like this. At this point, now draw your curve very well like this. Now you can draw your curve like that. You see, we have gotten that curve. Then the same case applies to here. Stand at this particular point, then draw your curve. So we have obtained this curve. Follow every step keenly. Then from there, we are told that we go down from this point to this point and this point to this point. We go down 40 centimeters down. So again, using our ruler, we will measure 40 centimeters going down, 40 centimeters going down, and make a mark. So at this point, make a mark at that point. Then 40 centimeters going down again from this particular point. Again, make a mark. Then using your ruler, again draw a line using reference line, very thin pencils like that. After you've drawn that line like that, now we are told that at this point we have another curve down here which is 48. So we will measure 48 from this point to here. So it is 48 centimeters. So measure 48 centimeters again from this point here. Measure 48 will be, this will be now 48 will be at this particular point. Make a mark. Then measure another 48. 48 will be from here. This will be 48. 48 will be from this point. Again, make a mark like that. So we have gotten these 2 points. Then from that particular point, again draw construction lines going down like that. There from that point again, using construction lines again, draw it like that. So we have gotten that point. That way we are almost halfway done. Then you're told from this point you're supposed to draw an arc of 48 millimeters or 4.8 centimeters. So measure 4.8 again on your ruler like this. You can measure 4.8, and our 4.8 will be at this particular point. That is our 4.8, as you can see. Then now standing on this particular juncture at this point, this center, now draw your curve like that. The same case applies to this point. Again, from this point, again draw your curve now, being like that. After you've gotten that curve, we are told again we go down a further distance of 30 millimeters. So from this 48, from this point to this point, here, from here to here, we measured as 40. So from this 40 point, we go a further distance down of 30 centimeters. So you can maybe decide to use your ruler very well. Now we can decide that this is our 0. So this becomes our 0, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3. So this will be our 30. Make a point at that point. Again, standing at this particular juncture, again, we can decide again 0, 1, 2, 3. Then at that point. Then at this particular point, again, using your ruler, make a very straight line. Using thick pencils like that. After you have obtained that point, you see we have obtained these particular points. We have obtained this point and this. We have obtained this point and this point. So we are told from these points, we can now draw another radius of 98. Another radius of 98 centimeters. Another radius of 98 centimeters from this center point, where this center point intersects at this particular juncture. You see from here, where they intersect at this particular juncture, you can now draw here. You can now draw another 98. So you measure your 98 again on your ruler. So I'll be like this point. So that 98, standing on this middle point here, now draw another one. You see, we are almost done. So after you've drawn like that, what is the question demanding? The question is demanding that we insert a curve here of radius 18. Here a curve of radius 18 and here a curve of radius 18. Here the concept of external and internal curves intersecting, forming either external or internal, is very important. So here we'll also do some mathematics, some small calculation. We all know that when a curve and another curve intersects and form an internal curve, you have to minus, but when they intersect and form an external curve, you have to add. So here the first curve, the curve here will form an internal curve with this 98 radius here. It will form an internal curve because it will be at this particular point. So you will say 98 plus 18, because the curve is supposed to be 18. This curve is supposed to be 18. So it will be 98 minus 18. That will be 80 millimeters. So using your ruler, again, stand at this particular point, measure 80 from this point. You see, we have the 80 at that particular point. So using the 80, where you used to draw, the point which you stood and drew this 98, that's where you will stand. So you will stand at this particular point here and strike a random arc like this. Just strike an arc like that. Then we know that the curve that is supposed to enter here, it will form internal curve with this, but it will form an external curve with this other curve, with this circle here. If we finish this, it will be a circle, so it will form an external curve. They will touch it out tangentially out here. Externally, it will be a tangential external curve. So here we'll have to add. So you will say this curve is 48. We all know we do it as 48. So it will be 48 plus 18. What will be 666. So if it is 66 millimeters, so it will be 6.6 centimeters. So 6.6 centimeters, again, measuring with your ruler like that. Stand on this particular point that you used to draw the 48 curve. Again, strike an arc. So where they intersect at this particular point, put back your compass to the measurements of 18. That was our 18 centimeters because the arc is supposed to be 18. So using that, we have our 18 centimeters like this. So using this 18 centimeters, then stand on this particular point. Again, then draw a curve like this, like that. Sorry, a small error, but I will rectify it like that. So you see, from this particular point, we have been able to achieve that. You've been able to achieve that curve. So again, now you will now have to rub. You can maybe rub this others. So we have that curve. So we have been able to achieve that curve, as you can see very well. The same case applies to the other side. This other side, we are supposed to also insert a curve here, and we'll use the same mathematical concept. The curve which you're supposed to insert here, again, is supposed to form an internal curve with this curve, this 98 arc. This 98 radius arc is supposed to, the curve is supposed to, so it will form an internal, it will be internally. Yani the small curve will be inside the bigger curve. So here we'll have to minus, where you will say also 98 minus 18, which will be 80. That is 98 minus 18 will be 80. So using the same measurement again on your ruler, you stand here at this particular point, measure your 80 at this point. The point which you used to draw the 98 curve, that's where you will stand like here and strike an arc like that. Then the curve which is to also come here, it will now form an external curve, because when you finish this circle like this and you finish the arc that you're supposed to draw here, it will be an external, it will be tangentially out. So you will have to add. So you will say again 48 plus 18. That is 48 plus 18. What will be your answer? Your answer will be 66. So if it's 66, measuring again like this from this particular point, again from here. The point which you used to draw the 48, you stand here again, you strike an arc like that. Then take back your measurements to 18 centimeters, which will be at this particular point. At that particular point. So where they are like this, standing here, now you join them two like this. Very much correctly. You see, like that. So you have been able to achieve this curve. So using again your rubber, you can rub here. So we have been able to have that curve. You have been able to achieve this curve here. You see this curve, this is the 98 and this is the 48, but here we have another curve which is of 18. That is what we were joining. So you can see the bulb has already been cleared, it has already been drawn. That is how you draw a curve. So the very next thing and the very next move that you do now, you have to bolden your work so that they can be seen, so that the examiner can be able to see what you've actually been doing like that. Then you label your work. Like this, from this distance to this distance. This is 24. From this distance to this distance, again from here we are told this is 20. This is 20. Then we are also told that from this distance to this distance, you're told is to be 40. This is to be 40. Remember, in the exam, it is not like that. I have doubled my measurement. I've used a scale of 1:2, because the measurements which we were given were very small. You are always allowed to do that. You can do even greater than that. You can even do greater than that. Yeah, depending on your understanding and your time. But for the sake of time and for the sake of time, I doubled. During my time of study, I doubled it so that it will be like that. So this curve here, we are told that this curve is 18. This will be, radius is 18. Then this also, the radius is 18. I have shown you how to draw this radius of 18. You just have to follow keenly. So, and this is the radius. This is the radius of 48. But in the exam is 24. But I've used, this is 48. This also from this point to this point. This one is radius of 48. Then from this point we drew this radius of 98. From here we use the radius of 98, as you can see very well. So the very next thing that you do now, you bolden your work so that the examiner can be able to see your work very well. So from this particular point, from this point again, you bolden your work like that. Then from this point again, bolden your work. Like that. So that is how to draw that particular question. As you can see, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch more KNEC past paper question. God bless you.